My name is Atem, Aleu. I was born in Sudan, and actually from South Sudan. It was in the morning when we arrived to the camp in Panyinduk. There was no any blanket or any mattress or anything. People just sleep. We just sit under the tree. There was no any shelter, but it was like it's like a big field, like a football field. That's how it looked like. But there's no grass. There was no grass on that field. So just people were grouped by their clan and their sub-clan. So they group people based on that because they have to take care of each other. And that's where I see some of my cousins that I have not even found on the way. It was a relief, and it also was a sad movement where we found out that we lost some of them. At the same time, exciting movement to see each other, and it was a sad movement also to hear about the bad news of my other cousin. Things changed a little bit. The first few months we arrived in the camp, it was not easy. There was still no food to eat. The biggest boys go to the village of Anuak to go and ask for food. Some kid who has some clothes, they have to take their clothes and sell them to get food. Whatever you have to sell it to get food. That's how we survived the first few months. And then the United Nations start coming like after 5 months to the camp and give a little bit of food to the refugees who were in the camp. We have to build our own houses, so we have to go to the forest, and it was not even. It was too dangerous for many of us. We lost some kid. This is like a big forest with a lot of very tall tree, and if you lost your way, you will not even know the north and the south and the east and the west. No, you will not remember where you come from. And then we lost some young boys in that forest because they don't know how to get back where they come from, and some of them end up eaten by animals. Some of them were killed by the tribe, the local tribe who were there because they were very hostile also to us. So it was situation after situation. It's like we get out from this situation and we stuck in another situation, and that's what happened. Before the war broke out in Ethiopia, everything was getting better. But in that few years, it was not even easy. It's just like you have a big container of corn flour, and then they cook that one, and it's 30 people have to eat that container. And when you have only one turn, that's enough for you because it's not going to come back to you. So people eat by turn. You just put your hand in the food and grab what you can grab, and then you have to wait for your turn, and everyone have to go and do the same thing. And it may not come back to you. And some people even cannot. If you are the last person, it may not come to you. And then at the end of the day, that's nothing more than that. So you're going to go without even having one bite. So what people do is they will start with you tomorrow. You may be the first person to have the first bite. And then after 2 years, things were changing and getting better. There were school open. People start going to school. There's no any exercise book or pencil to write. We just sit under the tree and you write on the floor. You just write with your finger, A, B, C. You just write it on your finger and you practice everything. You don't have anything to take home with you. And then it was after 1 year we start getting, school supply to write, and things were changing a little bit. the food become enough for everyone. And then maybe 8 months after that, the war broke out in Ethiopia, which the Ethiopian rebels who gained the upper hand to take over the country were supported by Sudan government. And so we became another victim because Sudan government supporting them, and Sudan government is the one chasing us from the village. So they attacking the camp that we were in. We just ran away again without anything. No one grabbed anything because we were not even aware of anything. So it's the same time around 3 p.m. when people run away from the camp in Panyudu. And they came to River Gilo, where we lost about 10,000 boys. They're drawn in that river because they don't know how to swim. We left very young before majority of us never have a chance to learn how to swim. And it was a very long river, and the water was flowing very, very fast. We were so weak also, so you don't have that heavy weight to fight the water. So, and then they were shooting people. So sometimes when you scare, you just trying to save your life. And that's what happened to many young men who just jump into the water and they disappear right away because they don't know how to swim, and it was so deep. The river was so deep. Some of them were swept away by the water. Some were eaten by crocodile because there were a lot of crocodile also in the river. Yeah, we were just hiding. Even they were shooting us. We were hiding at the riverbank. There was like the water. Sometimes when it's overflow, they make a deep hole at the riverbank, and that deep hole, when the water just become low, it's just like a dry, but no one can see you. So that's where we hide. We spend a day over there. Next morning, some of the oldest brothers and other cousins came back to the riverside. They want to go back to the camp mostly to go and get food because they were chasing people out from the camp, and then they left. So people decide to go back and get food because there was no food on the other side. And then majority of them came with rope. And those are the ones we were using by other people who were hiding there. They tied the rope on the other side and the other side of the river, and then people used that rope to cross. Before we came to Kenya, we go to Kenya, we came to another small town called Pinchala, and that's where I lost my second older brother. There was another attack at night in the morning at 3 in the morning from Sudan government, because we now came back to Sudan from Ethiopia. And then the Sudan government attacked us. And that's where I lost my second older brother there. In that town, there were soldiers, SPLM soldiers who were there in the camp, in the town. And then there was a huge number, about 15,000 kids who came. So there's no enough accommodation, so they just put us in an empty place and telling people to go to the forest and get some wood and build some houses. So we were there for about 3 months, and we started building our own houses. And that was the time, like about 4 p.m., when they were telling everyone, grab whatever you can grab, and you have to go. There was a war tank, like a military artillery tank, coming on the way to the town. So we have to leave, and that's how we end up in Kenya. My other two brothers, my other brother was shot, but my other two brothers were killed later on in the war. It's only 2 of us alive now. We were 7, but it's only 2 of us made it, yeah. So yeah, we arrived in Kakuma in month of February 1992. and it was a daytime when people arrived. Um, Remember very well, Kakuma was a desert area, mostly in Rift Valley, Turkana district. It's a very desert area, very dry land. It was the same traumatized that we had when we met in Ethiopia and seeing our cousin, and it was like a very exciting movement at the same time and sad movement because some of these families, their kids were with us, and some of them die, and they were not aware because there's not any communication to let them know. So some of them were very shocked. Some of them were very excited to see their kid. Some of them were lucky, and some of us were very shocked to hear, like myself, hearing my grandmom, who was actually raising us, was no longer there. But in Kakuma, based on the welcoming that we see and then the involvement of the United Nations, some people feel like there is a hope. And when there is a hope, that's how the trauma kick in. And it start like, it took me a while to think about what to do, so that I can healing this feeling out of myself. So it took me up to 1994 to start thinking about, I need to be an artist to share all these things with other people. And the first thing was because I knew that even I'm in the refugees camp, I would just go up to elementary school or primary school, and I will not have a chance to go to higher education or learning English to communicate with other people and share my story with them. And the only language that I can use is art, and that's the only language that I can communicate. My idea behind it is how to stop, how to bring awareness so that the international community can get involved as soon as possible and help young people like us. If there were international community, we would not suffer for more than 5 years without anything, or without any action, or without anyone holding the Sudan government accountable of what it's doing. So my my motivation was raising awareness and reaching as many people I can reach with my artwork. And that's how I start my artwork. But I use charcoal from the beginning. Just take a piece of paper and draw where I was when the war began, when I ran away from the village, um, where I was in the camp, and all these things. So it just became like back to the same memory where my mom were before she died and all these things. So it was like I'm bringing back my memory and put them in a piece of paper so I can share them with other people. And I did it until it took me up to 1999 where my artwork became useful to other people. So it was a coincidence. There is a guy called Sacha Chanaf. His grandfather is a Jewish. He survived Holocaust. So Sacha Chanaf is now in Boston with his dad, David Chanaf, who will become my best friend. He was working for IOM. They help you to get a ticket to come to the US, and then you pay the money back to them. So Sacha Chanaf was working for IOM, but before IOM, he was working for a resettlement agency in Boston area, Jewish Family Services in Boston. So he liked to be out in the camp. So he went to the camp and he went to one of the center, the youth center, and that's how he saw my painting there. And that's how, when after he went back to the UN compound, he went and talked to the people who were processing papers that there is a gentleman that I want you to work with, and so that the process of Lost Boy can be a little bit easy, and also helping the migration attorney to understand the suffering of these young people. And that's how my name got on the board. coming to the US is not easy. So people go through very hard process. And the INS, which is migration attorneys, who go and do interview, their main aiming is to prevent people to come to the US. So you miss single thing, you're not going to, you fail. And that was the call that I was called to help them and do orientation every time they come and do interview. Before they sit down with any lost boy and girl, I have to talk to them like doing orientation and walk them through the journey using my painting. So I have to draw every night, drawing 5 to 8 paintings based on the histories that I went through. And then I have to sit down with them and walk them through, this happened in this area, this happened in this area, this happened in this area. And when they come and schedule an interview with lost boy, even you miss something, they just know the situation. People are traumatized and murmuring may not be in place, and also thinking about going through that history is traumatized by itself, because it's reminding you about your parent, your brother, your sibling, your cousin, your close friend. So that memory come back, and when it's come back, it's not easy. It's, you just back to the same situation. So it was very easy for them to process it and also understand the situation based on the explanation and what they see on through my painting. Yeah, go back to what my mom told me at my early childhood, that when you're helping others, there's no any more blessing you can get. It's helping other people. That's the only thing you can do. So that's what always my dream and always my value is, to help people. I actually learned how to, forgiveness is one of important things, because if you keep all the things that you have or happen to you, you hurt yourself and you become more traumatized. When you let them go and look at the life in front of you, I think that's what keeps me moving always with a smile. Even I see someone from the Sudan government who commit those tragedy to my family, I treat them like brothers and sisters, because they were ordered by someone. They were not by themselves to do it, but someone told them to do that. And I still showing that even through my work here. I work with all the people that I should not work with, but I still work with them, because I have to keep that in my mind. It's my duty to help other people and show them my good side, not the bad side of me.